Мы просто не оставили никаких шансов поступить иначе. Отреагировать было невозможно.
Ukraine is under attack by land, sea and air. For 70 years, no two major countries on this continent have gone to war on this scale.
Today, we have some shocking news coming out of the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. In a shocking turn of events, 4 high-ranking Russian generals have been eliminated in a single week. This is a significant blow to the Russian forces and has left the military world in awe. Stay with us as we dive into the details of this important development. The ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia has reached a critical stage. In response to the Russian occupation of Ukrainian land, Ukraine initiated its long-anticipated counteroffensive 2 weeks ago. The aim was to reclaim the occupied territories and push back against the Russian forces. President Zelensky himself confirmed the commencement of this decisive move, signaling a turning point in the conflict. However, reports indicate that the progress has been slow and met with staunch resistance from Russia. Moscow officials have gone so far as to claim that Ukraine's offensive has failed. Over the past week, Ukrainian forces have made remarkable progress, conducting counterattack operations in at least 4 frontline areas. They have successfully captured strategic locations such as Storozhev, Blahodadny, Neskuch, and Makarivka and waved their own flags in Levadny and Novodorivka. Despite the challenges faced by Ukraine's forces, the Ukrainian military announced some small victories and the liberation of 8 villages in Belgorod Oblast. Furthermore, they reported that approximately 113 square kilometers of territory have been retaken from Russian control. However, Ukrainian officials, including Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar, emphasized that the biggest blow is yet to come. Russian President Vladimir Putin recently downplayed the success of Ukraine's counteroffensive, asserting that it has not achieved any meaningful gains. However, some Russian military bloggers have suggested that Ukraine has made small gains, but at the cost of significant troop and equipment losses. On the 12th of June 2023, Major General Sergei Goryashev, Chief of Staff of Russia's 35th Army, met a tragic fate during clashes in the Zaporizhia region. Goryashev, 52 years old, was a distinguished military officer with a remarkable career. Throughout his tenure, Goryashev had been involved in various conflicts and military operations. He had fought in the Second Chechen War, demonstrating his combat experience and leadership abilities. Following his service in Chechnya, Goryashev went on to command a tank brigade, showcasing his expertise in armored warfare. Additionally, Goryashev played a significant role in overseeing a Russian military base in Tajikistan, where he likely faced the challenges of regional security and maintaining peace in the area. His experiences extended beyond Tajikistan, as he also led Russian forces in Moldova's breakaway pro-Russian region of Transnistria. This experience in managing and coordinating operations in disputed territories showcased Goryashev's strategic acumen. Unfortunately, Goryashev's illustrious career came to an abrupt end during the clashes in the Zaporizhia region. His death was a severe blow to the Russian military, as he was regarded as one of its brightest and most effective military commanders. Goryashev was known for combining the highest professionalism with personal courage, making his loss deeply felt within the ranks of the Russian army. Ukrainian forces utilized the Storm Shadow missile, successfully eliminating the high-ranking Russian officer. The effectiveness of this missile against the Russian military highlights the evolving capabilities of the Ukrainian forces and the impact of advanced weaponry in modern warfare. The loss of Major General Sergei Goryashev not only affected the morale of the Russian military, but also raised questions about the effectiveness of their operations in the region. His absence leaves a void in the chain of command, which could impact the decision-making process and overall coordination of Russian forces. The Russian army's woes did not end there. Adding to the string of losses, the commander of the Second Corps of the Russian Armed Forces suffered a fatal fate in the ongoing conflict. The Russian Volunteer Corps and the Freedom of Russia Legion reported that the commander was killed in Belgorod Oblast. The commander of the 2nd Corps 4th Separate Motor Rifle Brigade, along with his chief of staff and one of his assistants, were annihilated during an attack by Ukraine's 24th Separate Assault Battalion. The clash took place in Klishchiivka near the city of Bakhmut. Images depicting the combat work of the Ukrainian battalion have circulated on social media, highlighting the successful operation that claimed the lives of these high-ranking Russian military officials. The loss of the commander of the 2nd Corps further exacerbates the already dire situation for the Russian armed forces. With each high-ranking officer eliminated, the chain of command becomes increasingly disrupted, posing challenges to the effectiveness and coordination of military operations. These losses also underscore the risks and dangers faced by both sides in the conflict. As the clashes intensify and casualties mount, it becomes evident that the confrontations in Belgorod Oblast carry significant consequences for those involved. Belgorod Oblast, located in Russia, became the setting for a tragic incident involving Colonel Andriy Stesev, a senior officer in the Russian Armed Forces. The Russian Volunteer Corps and the Freedom of Russia Legion claimed responsibility for Stesev's death within the territory of Belgorod Oblast. According to the announcements made by the Russian Volunteer Corps and the Freedom of Russia Legion, on the 4th of June 2023, Colonel Andriy Vasilievich Stesev, a serviceman of the Russian Armed Forces of the Guard, lost his life during a joint operation. The Freedom of Russia Legion stated that a joint group comprising their members and the Russian Volunteer Corps successfully eliminated Colonel Stesev, who held a senior position within the Belgorod operational group. The Freedom of Russia Legion further accused Stesev of being involved in heinous actions, claiming that he and his subordinates systematically terrorized the population of Belgorod Oblast and violated their rights and freedoms. The Legion pointed out that Stesev had a history of alleged civilian killings in various regions, including Chechnya, Yugoslavia, Abkhazia, and Ukraine. Their statement depicted Stesev as an officer with blood on his hands, emphasizing the extent of his alleged crimes against civilians. In light of these developments, the Freedom of Russia Legion reached out to Yevgeny Prigozhin, the leader of the Wagner Group, on Monday, the 5th of June. They proposed an exchange, offering to release the captured mercenary lieutenant colonel of the Russian Armed Forces in return for several Russian soldiers held captive by the Legion in Belgorod Oblast. The incident involving Colonel Andriy Stesev sheds light on the complex and volatile nature of the conflict in Belgorod Oblast. The conflicting accounts regarding Stesev's actions and his alleged involvement in civilian killings underscore the challenges faced by both sides in the ongoing confrontation. As tensions continue to rise, the calls for exchanges and negotiations further exemplify the complexities of resolving the conflict in the region. The elimination of 4 Russian high-ranking generals in such a short period is an unprecedented blow to the Russian army. These losses expose the weaknesses of the Russian military and the flawed strategies employed by President Vladimir Putin. The invasion of Ukraine has not only revealed corruption and incompetence within the Russian defense sector, but has also strained Russia's resources, with an estimated 216,650 total troop losses. The casualties include approximately 1,800 Russian officers and senior commanders. With each passing day, it becomes clearer that Putin's invasion of Ukraine has not only inflicted damage on the country, but has also taken a toll on Russia itself. The consequences of his ill-conceived actions are now catching up to him, revealing the limitations of his leadership and the vulnerabilities within the Russian military. As we continue to closely monitor the situation, it is crucial to remember the human cost of this conflict. Lives are being lost on both sides, and innocent civilians are caught in the crossfire. Our thoughts go out to all those affected by this tragic situation. That concludes our in-depth coverage of the biggest loss of the day, the elimination of 4 Russian high-ranking generals. This unprecedented event has sent shockwaves through the Russian military and has exposed the weaknesses in Putin's leadership. We will continue to follow this story closely, providing you with the latest updates and analysis.